The new number one open-source AI just beat ChatGPT 5.5 and Gemini, GLM 5.2, just shocked the entire AI industry. AI has officially released GLM 5.2, and the performance gap between this model and most other open-source competitors is honestly shocking. According to early benchmarks and community testing, GLM 5.2 is not only challenging the best open models available today, but in several coding and reasoning tasks it's approaching, and sometimes surpassing, top proprietary models from OpenAI and Google. In this video, we'll break down exactly what makes GLM 5.2 so powerful, test its real-world capabilities, compare it against the competition, and explore why this release could be a major turning point for open-source AI. Let's dive in. First, where can you actually use GLM 5.2? The model is available through AI's ecosystem and integrates with popular AI coding environments and agent frameworks. One of the biggest highlights is its massive 1 million token context window, allowing it to process entire codebases, lengthy documents, and complex multi-step projects in a single session. But here's the thing. Using GLM 5.2 just for simple chat tasks is like buying a Formula One car to drive to the grocery store. Sure, it can write emails, summarize articles, and answer questions. Every frontier model can do that. The real magic happens when you connect it to agent frameworks that let it plan, code, test, debug, and iterate autonomously. That's where GLM 5.2 starts to feel less like a chatbot and more like a software engineer. To put that to the test, we gave it a challenge most developers would consider extremely difficult. Build a fully interactive 3D digital twin of Earth. Not just a globe. A realistic Earth simulation with seamless zoom from outer space down to city streets, live country highlighting, economic statistics, atmospheric effects, flight traffic visualization, day-night transitions, and city light rendering. After several rounds of autonomous development and refinement, GLM 5.2 produced a working interactive experience that included most requested features. The flight traffic visualization looked particularly impressive, with animated paths circling the globe in real time. Country borders highlighted correctly. Population, GDP, and area data appeared dynamically. Day-night transitions worked. City lights appeared accurately. And perhaps most impressively, users could zoom from space all the way down to street-level views. Was it perfect?
No.
Some atmospheric cloud effects still needed improvement. But for an open-source model working largely autonomously, the results were remarkable. And that theme keeps repeating throughout our testing. Next, we asked GLM 5.2 to create a complete promotional video from scratch. Not just a script, an actual video. The model had to analyze a product website, generate a marketing narrative, create animations, synthesize voice narration, combine music, and render a final deliverable. After completing the workflow, it produced a polished 1-minute promotional video with voiceover, transitions, branding, and synchronized audio. This wasn't just content generation. This was end-to-end creative production. Then we moved into 3D engineering simulations. We instructed GLM 5.2 to build a fully animated V8 engine model. The requirements included exploded view visualization, moving pistons, rotating crankshaft, functional animation, controls, adjustable engine, speed, interactive user controls. The resulting simulation looked surprisingly professional. Every major engine component was modeled and animated. Users could separate the assembly into individual parts and inspect the internal mechanics in motion. For a single prompt, the quality was extraordinary. We pushed even further. Mechanical watches. One of the most difficult engineering visualizations because every gear, dial, spring, and balance wheel must align correctly. While the model didn't achieve complete perfection, it successfully generated a detailed exploded watch assembly with moving components, rotating hands, layered visibility controls, and realistic internal structures. Even some leading proprietary models struggle with this level of mechanical complexity. And that's what makes GLM 5.2 fascinating. It consistently punches above its weight class. The model's strengths become even more obvious in coding environments. One benchmark after another shows major improvements in software engineering performance, long-horizon task completion, and autonomous coding workflows. Community reports highlight strong results on coding benchmarks, while the model's architecture is optimized specifically for agent-driven development. What's perhaps even more important is what this means for the broader AI industry. Unlike many frontier models that remain locked behind subscriptions, APIs, and usage restrictions, GLM 5.2 is being released under an MIT-style open-weight approach, giving developers unprecedented freedom to inspect, customize, and deploy the model. That means greater transparency, better privacy, local deployment options, custom fine-tuning, reduced dependence on closed AI providers. For businesses handling sensitive information, that advantage alone could be game-changing. And then there's the headline feature everyone is talking about: 1 million tokens of context. To put that into perspective, that's enough room for hundreds of thousands of words, massive software repositories, research archives, legal documents, or entire project histories inside a single conversation. This dramatically reduces one of the biggest limitations facing AI today: forgetting information during long workflows. The result is an AI system capable of maintaining context across projects that previously required constant manual intervention. Now, it's important to remain realistic. Not every benchmark claim has been independently verified, and some reported leaderboard victories are still being evaluated by the broader community. However, what is clear is that GLM 5.2 has instantly become one of the most important open-source AI releases of 2026. For developers, researchers, and AI enthusiasts, this model represents something bigger than just another release. It represents the accelerating rise of open-source intelligence, a future where cutting-edge AI isn't controlled by a handful of corporations, but can be downloaded, modified, improved, and owned by anyone. And if GLM 5.2 is any indication of where open-source AI is heading next, the gap between open and closed models shrinking much faster than anyone expected. The AI race just entered a new phase, and it's getting interesting. For years, the AI industry has been dominated by a handful of companies: OpenAI, Google, Anthropic. Every time a new frontier model arrived, it seemed impossible for open-source AI to catch up. But that may have just changed. A new model called GLM 5.2 has arrived, and it's sending shockwaves through the AI industry. Built by Chinese AI lab Z.AI, GLM 5.2 is being called one of the most powerful open-weight AI models ever released. It comes with a massive 1 million token context window, frontier-level coding abilities, and performance that is beginning to challenge some of the biggest names in artificial intelligence. And perhaps the most surprising part? It's open source. That means developers can download it, customize it, self-host it, and build on top of it without being locked into a single AI company. The timing couldn't be more dramatic. Just as the AI world was becoming increasingly dependent on proprietary models from OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic, Z.AI dropped GLM 5.2 and reminded everyone that open-source AI is still very much alive. So what exactly makes GLM 5.2 so special? Let's start with the headline feature: 1 million tokens. That's the amount of information GLM 5.2 can keep in memory during conversation. To put that into perspective, that's enough room for hundreds of thousands of words, massive software repositories, research papers, legal documents, financial reports, and entire project histories, all inside a single context window. This is a huge deal because one of the biggest limitations of AI today is memory. Most models eventually forget earlier information. GLM 5.2 dramatically expands that limit, allowing it to work on complex projects over much longer periods without losing track of important details. But context length alone doesn't make a great AI model. Performance does. And that's where things get interesting. According to early testing and community benchmarks, GLM 5.2 has become one of the strongest open-weight coding models available today. Users are reporting impressive performance in software engineering, repository-scale refactoring, autonomous coding agents, and long-horizon development tasks. Some benchmark reports even suggest that GLM 5.2 is approaching the level of leading proprietary systems in coding-related workloads. While independent verification is still ongoing, the early results have been strong enough to get the entire AI community talking. And here's where things become even more disruptive. Unlike GPT-5.5 or Gemini, GLM-5.2 is designed around openness. Developers can run it on their own infrastructure. Companies can keep sensitive information inside their own environments. Researchers can inspect and improve the model. Startups can build products without worrying that a future API change will suddenly increase costs or restrict access. This is exactly why open-source AI matters. When intelligence is controlled by a few companies, everyone else becomes dependent on those companies. But when intelligence becomes open, innovation accelerates. Anyone can participate. Anyone can build. Anyone can improve it. That philosophy is one of the reasons GLM 5.2 has generated so much excitement across developer communities. The model itself is enormous. GLM 5.2 uses a 744 billion parameter mixture of experts architecture, with approximately 40 billion active parameters used during inference. This allows it to achieve frontier-level performance while remaining more efficient than traditional dense models of similar scale. Z.AI also focused heavily on agentic workflows. In simple terms, GLM 5.2 isn't just designed to answer questions. It's designed to take actions,
to plan,
to code, to debug, to execute long chains of tasks, to function more like an autonomous digital worker than a traditional chatbot. And that's where the future of AI is heading. The next generation of AI isn't just about chatting. It's about agents that can actually perform work, build software, create applications, analyze research, generate content, and operate across multiple tools autonomously. GLM 5.2 was clearly built with that future in mind. What's even more remarkable is how quickly the open-source ecosystem is evolving. Just a few years ago, proprietary models had a massive advantage. Today, the gap is shrinking faster than almost anyone predicted. Models like DeepSeek, Qwen, and now GLM 5.2 are proving that open-source AI can compete at the frontier. Many developers now view open models as legitimate alternatives to expensive closed systems. And that creates a serious challenge for companies like OpenAI and Google. Because if an open-source model can deliver 90 to 95% of the capability at a fraction of the cost, and with complete ownership, many organizations will choose the open option. That's why GLM 5.2 matters. This isn't just another model launch. This is another step in the larger battle between closed AI and open AI. A battle that could determine who controls the future of intelligence. Will AI remain concentrated in the hands of a few powerful companies? Or will it become an open technology that anyone can use, improve, and own? GLM 5.2 is making a very strong argument for the second future. And judging by the industry's reaction, this may be one of the most important open-source AI releases of 2026. The AI race is no longer just OpenAI versus Google. Open source has officially entered the fight, and GLM 5.2 might be the model that changes everything. Outro. Do you think open-source AI will eventually surpass OpenAI and Google? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because the AI race is moving faster than ever.